Hey everyone, Jake here for American Muscle, and in this video we're taking a look at the 3-inch catback exhaust with polished tips fitting 2015 to 2023 EcoBoost Mustangs without the factory active exhaust. If your EcoBoost S550 just needs a little more sound to satisfy, then this 3-inch catback setup might just be the right fit for you. This is an easy, affordable, high-quality upgrade that's going to make a pretty good amount of noise. Accordingly, we're going to give this one a pretty solid 3 out of 5 on our loudness meter, so it will be quite a big difference versus stock, but not quite enough to get your neighbors in a huff. So if you're looking for more noise without being completely unhinged or having to spend a ton of money, this setup is going to be right up your alley. As you heard from the clips at the beginning of the video, this setup does a lot to make the 2.3 EcoBoost sound much more aggressive, but it doesn't go over the top. It's got a nice rasp to it, and it's worlds away from the quiet, muffled sound of the factory exhaust. This is a full catback, replacing your stock mufflers, and these canister-style mufflers that are included have a lot less baffling to them than your stockers. So you'll get a lot more resonance, and you can see they're pretty much straight through. Now these are going to give the EcoBoost a sound that it probably should have had from the factory. And the contrast from stock is even more stark once you really get things revved up. Again, in contrast to the factory system, this is also going to breathe better and produce less back pressure since it is a 3-inch diameter exhaust. That's really important for a turbocharged engine. Better breathing can mean more power, and while we aren't talking about huge power numbers here, we're also not dyno testing this system. A little extra oomph to go with your cool sound is never a bad thing. You're probably going to find yourself driving a little differently than you're used to just because you're going to want to hear the additional noise. Plan on having to turn up the radio as well because you are naturally going to get quite a bit more sound inside of the cabin as well. Now this isn't going to be quite as obtrusive as some other catback setups on the market thanks to these mufflers, but it is going to be a noticeable increase, especially versus stock. Definitely a level that is still acceptable for a daily driver, however. You also get a pair of big polished slash-cut chrome tips to finish it all off. They're not really over the top aesthetically, but it's still something that's just a bit different from the stockers. Not so much that they're the first thing you notice, but a nice little detail for those in the know. Now the sound is vitally important to an exhaust, but construction is also important, and that's the other big reason to consider this setup. This system is comprised of 3-inch diameter T304 stainless steel. This is mandrel bent, so there's no weird crinkles or bends in the pipes, and that T304 material means that this is going to provide you the most resistance to corrosion and rust that you can reasonably expect to get. Those tips that we were talking about a moment ago too are also made of T304 stainless, so this whole thing should last you a good long while, and it's going to look pretty good doing it. It's almost a shame that you're not going to see it once it's mounted up on the car. When it comes to the price, this is going to be another big win. This is going to run you about $475, and that makes it pretty much the most affordable catback setup for the EcoBoost S550. And that's especially great considering that this is again T304 stainless. The quality here can't be overstated. The welds actually look really nice, and for the money, you're getting a great sounding high quality exhaust. When it comes to installation, this system is going to get a 2 out of 3 on our difficulty meter, and you should budget about 2 hours to get everything buttoned up. This is a totally bolt-on system. It's going to utilize all your factory exhaust hanger locations, so you don't need to modify anything on your car whatsoever. This is again just going to take the place of your stock system. Now if you've ever done an exhaust in a driveway before, you know that it can be a little fiddly to do just because of a lack of space. Most of us don't have access to a lift at home. But this is absolutely something that you can do yourself, and to show you what you've got to do now, we're going to head right on over to the shop.
The tools you'll need for this project are an impact gun or 1/2-inch drive ratchet, a long extension, a 13, a 15, and a 16 millimeter socket. Hi everyone, today we're installing an exhaust on our Mustang, so let's get started by watching a short video on how to uninstall the stock exhaust.
Now your obvious first step here, guys, is to lift and support your car, whether it be on jack and jack stands, or in this case, a lift. Now with the car up in the air, we're gonna start by removing the two 13mm bolts, securing these brackets back here towards the rear of the car. Now we can move up to our clamp here that secures our factory cap back to our downpipe and loosen these two 15mm nuts here. We don't have to remove them all the way. We just want to make sure we can loosen those enough to loosen this clamp up. So now with our forwardmost clamp loosened up, we're going to grab a buddy here, and what we're gonna do is get the exhaust off of the brackets here that secure it to the rear subframe, drop the front of the catback itself, and then at that point we can slide the rear of the factory catback out of these hangers.
All right, first thing we're going to install on our new system is the Y-pipe. And we're going to be reusing our front clamp that we removed from our stock exhaust to secure that to the system. So we want to make sure that our slot in our clamp is lined up with the locking stud on the stock exhaust. We'll slide that into place. And we'll go ahead and slip our Y-pipe into the clamp, making sure, of course, that the two pipes line up underneath the drive shaft. Now, once we've got that into place, we'll snug that down with our 15mm socket. Next thing we're going to install is our under the axle pipe. Now, these are side specific, so you want to make sure that the pipe that you are installing on the driver's side angles out towards the outside of the car, and the hanger itself is on the inside because we're going to be reusing the hanger right here behind the differential as well. So we'll go ahead and slide our clamp over the end of our pipe, install our hanger behind the axle, making sure that the hook is facing forward, and we'll go ahead and slide our pipe onto our Y-pipe. And then we'll go ahead and secure our hanger to the cross member using the original hardware. Now we can go ahead and snug up our clamp. We're not going to tighten it down all the way yet till we get the whole system installed and get everything aligned. So we'll just snug up this clamp using our 16mm socket. Now we can slide our next clamp over the end of our muffler, and then we'll insert the hanger into this rear isolator right behind the bumper. Once that's in place, go ahead and slide our pipes together. And now we can go ahead and snug up this clamp as well using our 16mm socket. Now we can go ahead and slide a clamp over our exhaust tip, slide it over to the end of the muffler, and we'll snug that up with our 16mm socket as well. And now you can repeat that whole process for the other side. All right, now that we've got our system completely installed, double check your alignment, make sure that there's no interference with the frame or any suspension, wiring, hoses, things of that nature. Once you're satisfied that everything is in the place where it needs to be, now you can go ahead and start from the front and tighten everything down. Now remember, you're going to be using a 15mm on the front clamp, 16mm on the other clamps, and then 13mm on the two hangers right here behind the differential. Once you get those all tightened down, it's a good idea to go ahead and take a clean cloth and some rubbing alcohol and just wipe down the system, especially since it is a polished system. That way it'll remove any grease or oil or fingerprints that you may have gotten on it while you were installing it. Once you've got that cleaned off, then you can go ahead and fire it up, and that should prevent any fingerprints or anything getting burned into the system once it reaches operating temperature.
That's going to wrap it up here for our review and install of the 3-inch catback exhaust with polished tips fitting 2015 to 2023 EcoBoost Mustangs without the factory active exhaust. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, for all things Mustang, be sure to keep it right here at AmericanMuscle.com.